time for information on mind sciences has never been more opportune than today, because the prime condition is the number of students are suffering from student stress, social stress, and number of varieties of challenges in their psychological well-being. Most important is their inability to cope with routine matters, the examination, the friendship, family matters. They are expressing that they feel pressured, they are unable to cope, unable to solve problems, despite all the hard work and their a very high degree of intellectual capital. Welcome to the course of Mind Sciences organized by Mansik Shakti Foundation. I'm Amrish Srivastava and I'm here to discuss and talk about challenges in your life. It is not a hidden story that more than 1/3 of students in universities face one or the other psychological challenges. In fact, whatever kind of challenges they face, it presents through psychological symptoms. I am here to discuss your problems, means the problems and challenges that you face during your studentship, during your life in colleges, universities, at the time when you are aspiring for a bright future, a successful life. What makes people little defensive, not so confident, develop problems of sleep, appetite, anxiety, depression, addiction, eating disorder, and many other problems. The problems can be in discussion, discourse, forming a relationship, feeling confident, handling your examination paper, and so on and so forth. The issue which comes to my mind, which is most important, is that we never talk about these problems to our students. In fact, this is a reality that they are suffering, they're facing, they say it themselves, but we never talk about it. The course of Mind Sciences precisely is an answer to this defense. We present information in a credible and scientific manner to make our students aware and enlightened and empowered, to make them capable of recognizing their problems, finding solutions, and asking for support and facilities. If we do not do that, and if they do not follow, the consequences are disastrous. We know that 25% to 20% may feel severe depression. There are a number of suicides. People stop going to universities and colleges. They fail in their examination. They lose out from mainstream of their career. And we must not forget that all these consequences are irreversible. The time lost is not going to be available to you again. And time lost due to depression is most unfortunate, because you can treat it, provided you are aware about it, provided you can identify. Are you empowered with the knowledge and wisdom and information that will make you identify your problems? So, my dear friends, Mind Sciences is a course which consists of sharing information about fundamentals of psychological sciences, the fundamentals of mind, body, behavior, and brain. This axis, significance of this axis in our life, its impact on our life, impact on productivity, impact on employment. Then we have the chapter in which we discuss what are the challenges that you face. We then try to discuss how to identify those individuals who are either at risk for developing a problem in coming time, or they are already suffering from a psychological problems or mental health challenges. And the last but not the least is all about solutions. What can an individual do? What public health measures can be adopted to bring changes in teaching institution, academic institutions, universities to provide number of options that our students do deserve, and rightly so. They must have access to care, access to diagnosis, intervention, support, mental health development, life skill development, and so on and so forth. It is important to recognize for every teaching institution that academia alone cannot build character of a person. It is the philosophy of psychological sciences, spiritual sciences embedded in academia which is going to provide a number of methods, number of tools that you will apply, like following a good discipline, like having a good sleep habits, like habit of nutrition, a good diet, good physical exercise, so on and something like that. And the lessons for forming a righteous character. A man with a strong and righteous character, a good character, has the courage and strength to face any kind of adversity. Even if it is for their personal failure, they are able to sustain it much better than many people who do not have or have not imbibed understanding of psychological sciences. Globally, we must remember that an alarming 1 in 7 individuals between the age of 10 and 19 experience a mental disorder. Can you believe it? And 13% of the global total burden within this age group is because of these neuropsychiatric conditions. Suicide ranks 4th leading cause of death in the age of 15 to 29, and approximately 1 in 6 people fall in the age range of 10 to 19 years, making adolescence as a unique formative period. Adolescents undergo significant physical, emotional, social changes with exposure to factors like poverty, abuse, violence, rendering them vulnerable for so many mental health issues. Shielding adolescents from adversity, fostering socio-economic learning, ensuring psychological well-being, and facilitating access to mental health care are critical for health during adolescence and beyond. We must remember that mental health is a state of well-being in which an individual can realize their own potential, cope with normal life stresses, and work with productivity, contribute to their community. It encompasses emotional, psychological, social aspects of a person's life. Mental health is not simply an absence of a mental disorder, but also the presence of positive attributes like resilience, self-esteem, and ability to form and maintain and healthy relationships. Mental health is a dynamic concept. It is continuously evolving and remains influenced by factors such as genetics, life experiences, and social and environmental conditions. It is essential to realize that mental health exists on a continuum with varying degree of well-being. Just as physical health requires maintenance and care, so does mental health. Like physical fitness, mental fitness can be nurtured and improved with knowledge and practice. Mental health is a multifaceted and dynamic aspect of human well-being that encompasses emotional and social and psychological dimensions. It refers to a state of well-being. It allows individuals to effectively cope with normal stress and adverse challenges in life. It allows people to adapt, deal with setbacks and adversities. It empowers individuals to engage in meaningful activities, contribute their own well-being and that of society. Mental health is essential for forming meaningful relationships. It encompasses experiencing a wide range of emotions like happiness, contentment, to sadness and anger, and being able to manage and express the emotions in a healthy manner. It allows individuals to pursue their goals, find purpose and meaning in life. mental health is closely linked to resilience. That is, our ability to deal with adversity and bounce back to the normal position. So these are some of the aspects of mental health that is extremely important for each and every individual to know. It is important to note that mental health exists on a continuum. That is extremely important, that there is, in all phases of life, there is component of mental health. And we are talking about the course of Mind Sciences, which is meant for all the students. This course deals with challenges which our students face and offers certain solutions. I have already explained that there are a number of challenges which our students face. Not only one or two students, but almost 50 to 60% students face significant amount of challenge, whether it comes from their academic life or personal life or from their relationship or financial stress, and over and above, significant amount of stress arises because of mental health issues. The most important aspect which we all need to remember, that whatever be the situation in life, whatever be the challenge, it appears, it affects you through psychological symptoms. The first, you lose your peace of mind, and then you lose your sleep and appetite, and then becomes irritability, mood changes, anxiety, anger, impulsivity, so on and so forth. And then there is dysfunction because of problem in psychological function. So we have seen these challenges, but now the question is, goal of life is to be happy. And how do we navigate happiness in life of students? Happiness is not only a state of mind, but it is a state of life. One needs to know the art of remaining happy. That means you need to monitor each and every factor which brings unhappiness in you and must know how to deter them. The pursuit of health and happiness is a universal aspiration, and it transcends all cultures, geographical regions, and each and every individual. At its core, it encapsulates a sense of fulfilling a meaningful life, aspiring for a meaningful life, reflecting the inherent human desire for a holistic sense of well-being. This intricate connection between health and happiness underscores the synergetic relationship. Body, mind, brain, and behavior work in a unison. We must prioritize and optimize remaining happy and obtaining the goal of happiness at every stage of our life. So how do we do that? How do we develop these positive emotions which are connected to the mindset which imbibes the happiness? Okay, many people say these are lifestyle choices, which appears to be a critical determinant. What you eat, how you sleep, how you manage your relaxation, how you manage your daytime working relationship, how you balance your work life and home life, how you behave with your children, how you manage with your partner, so on and so forth. All social connections and emotional connections form a composite relationship in the ambit of lifestyle management. So it's definitely a lifestyle choice. But is that all? No. It is about adapting to change yourself and adapting to a change which is entering in your life, a situation which is confronting you. It is your strength how to navigate and minimize the detrimental effect of such a change and maximize your own potential. The ability to embrace change allows students to remain flexible and resilient in face of evolving academic, social, and personal circumstances. Adapting to change involves cultivating a mindset that views challenge as an opportunity for growth rather than obstacle. Students who develop this skill can navigate transitions more smoothly. Whether they are adjusting to new learning environment, facing unexpected challenge, or encountering shifts in personal circumstances, whatever be the situation, it is your ability to navigate these transitions. And let me also emphasize, what is the most crucial and critical period in anyone's life is a period of transition. People enter from childhood to adolescence, from adolescence to adulthood, from single status to marital status, from marital status to single status. They go through divorce, they go through job retirement, they go through early retirement. Whenever they are entering a phase in the life, they are transitioning their psyche. And this period of transition is highly vulnerable because you are trying to preserve something, resist something, which we are not able to do that. And therefore you need more mental energy, more mental strength to invest in the process of dealing with the change. So this presents often as a crisis. So what is crisis? Crisis can be a period of danger because your existing mechanisms are likely to fail. But the crisis is also an opportunity because it is a period of advantage when new mechanisms emerge to strengthen you to deal with these situations. Thus, setting up goals and priorities is fundamental to academic success and personal growth. In this connection, let me also emphasize that the tool for bringing change in any student's life is through the process of mental health education. Mental health education, it demolishes the misconception, stereotypy, stigma, unawareness, ignorance, unconcernedness, living in denial, and so many factors which interferes between you and your success, between you and your ability to succeed, between you and your ability to achieve. Mental health education provides essential knowledge about mind, brain, and various mental health conditions. Understanding the basics of mental health helps reduce stigma and promotes empathy towards those facing mental health challenges. Early identification in that sense allows for timely intervention. Once you identify, you receive care far more early and receive more support, improve the chances of successful treatment and recovery. Educators armed with comprehensive knowledge about mental health are real asset to any institution. We must acknowledge that the goal of happiness in life cannot be accomplished if we are deficient in mental health education or in education about mind and matter in our life. If that lesson is not given to our students, then I don't think they will be able to achieve what they are aspiring to achieve. Mental health, we must also remember that mental health per se is not only for health and healthy condition, it's for your academic excellence. We'll continue to talk about it. Welcome. To continue this dialogue further, we must realize that mental health is in fact for academic excellence. It is intricately related to academic excellence. It influences cognitive functions, stress management, motivation to study, time management, your ability to be resilient, your relationship with peers, academic confidence, problem solving skills, utilization of academic support, and so many things. If you have good mental health, it helps you to achieve in your academics. And that is one good reason why I consistently say that. Do not put it parallel to something like people have mental illness, mental disorders, psychiatric disorder, there is a stigma, unawareness, and very few people develop it. and then they go and they are lodged in mental hospitals. No, that's not the case. When we talk about mental health is an equivalent component of total health. Recognizing and prioritizing mental health in educational institution is essential for creating an environment where students can achieve and fulfill their academic potential while maintaining their psychological well-being. The mental well-being of students is fundamental to their academic success, personal growth, and overall happiness. In today's fast-paced world, students encounter various stressors, making it essential to empower them with necessary tools and resilience to navigate challenges in their life. My dear friends, it explores the strategies and initiatives aimed at empowering students' mind, fostering mental health, and creating supportive environment in educational institutions. It's for entire good of your life. The program that focuses on developing emotional intelligence helps students understand and manage their emotions, navigate social relationships, and cope with stress. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from setbacks and adversities. Schools and colleges can empower students by teaching them coping mechanisms, problem-solving skills, and positive thinking. Encouraging a growth mindset where challenges are viewed as opportunities for growth cultivates resilience and mental strength. Educational institution can integrate stress management technique and mindfulness practices into the curriculum. These include yogic sciences, yogic practices, meditation, deep breathing exercise, Gayatri mantra practices, and so on and so forth. There are plenty of cultural methods for stress management that must be part of curriculum. Empowering students for mental strength involves a multifaceted approach that includes emotional intelligence, development, resilience building, and stress management. This empowerment sets the stage for healthier and happier life. Whatever be the consequences, your students will be able to cope. Even if they fail and do not achieve, they will remain happy, and that's the goal of life. Continue to watch. Welcome. We are talking about why mental health is an essential component for academic excellence. Recognizing the interplay of mental health and academic excellence, success. Our discussion is about mental health being an integral aspect or a necessary aspect for obtaining academic excellence. So there are some arguments which are very important to understand. Interplay between mental health and academic excellence is essential for achieving good goal harmoniously. Whatever you will achieve by your hard work, by your intellect, by your social skills, you will achieve it, no doubt about it. But how harmoniously you achieve, what you go through during the process of this achievement is important. Good mental health is linked with enhanced cognitive function. So those who have good mental health have a very high cognitive power, intellectual power, ability to think, understand, analyze, and reproduce. It allows the students to remain positive. They think with a lot of hope and optimism. They can concentrate and focus effectively and retain the information for its timely utilization. Further, they are able to use their past experience because of the storage in the memory house and retrieval being a smooth process if you have a good cognitive power. It becomes easy and very quick to utilize the past experience. You did a mistake in the last examination, you're not going to repeat it. You never anticipated that the same question will appear, but it is now there. There are people who will remember that I did it this way wrong, but there are others who will forget and who will remember it after they have attempted that. Well, this question I did, last time it was wrong and I have done it wrong again. So that's the difference, how cognitive power is important. A good mental health is a testimony for good cognitive power. It enables students to approach complex academic challenges with clear mind and focused mind, leads to better problem solving skills. It obviously reduces stress, because once you are confident, once you know that you are able to achieve your program, you are attempting some examination, you lay down a program, and you are able to step by step, day by day, achieve your small or moderate or high level targets effectively. It reduces your stress. You do not procrastinate, you do not accumulate the dirty stuff on your table, and remain positive. So positive mental health promotes not only chances of success, but it improves motivation, enthusiasm, learning. It allows you to involve in extracurricular activity. You are able to socialize better, and mental well-being means you are able to absorb the stress much better. You are able to seek help much more easily, make friends easily, reach out to them, and last but not the least, you take a solace by teaching to other peers, by involving into meaningful debate, discussion and discourse. It satisfies your social conscientiousness that you are not able, you're not only studying and accumulating, but you are participating and contributing into others' knowledge base also. Continue to watch. We are discussing about mental health as a requirement for academic excellence. Welcome to the program of Mansik Shakti Foundation, and we are discussing the context of new topic, that is mind sciences, in which we have been talking about challenges of students. What are these challenges, how to navigate it, and what best can be done for them. So we recognize that all students have one or the other kind of challenges, be it psychological in nature related to mental health, or to their individual's life, or financial or family related. But there are certain mental health needs of these students. We must recognize that we must respond to those needs. So what are these needs? Is it important to know? Yes, it is important to know what are the mental health needs of students. In India, a country with a diverse and dynamic education system, addressing the mental health needs of students is of paramount importance. Mental health is a fundamental aspect of overall well-being, crucial for academic and personal growth of students. Despite progress, significant gap exists in challenging these difficulties. What are these gaps? We do not have the services that is ideally required. The mental health services are severely lacking in nook and corner of the country, be it a rural area or an urban. Most of the mental health practitioners are concentrated in urban part, and even in urban part in center of the town. The equal opportunity is not available to each and every citizen for immediate care, despite number of governmental initiatives which are highly commendable. I must mention the latest one, that is Telemanas, which has a phone number given by the Government of India. You dial the number, the services are functional in about 23 cities in our country. It's very credible, launched by Ministry of Health and Family Welfare in collaboration with the National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences, Bangalore, which is a premier institute of our country. My congratulations to the team. I am sure that things and initiatives like this will decrease the treatment gap existing in our country. So what? About 90% of the world's children live in low and middle income countries, where the resources to treat these disorders are most scarce. Psychiatric and substance use disorders, for example, are number one cause of disability among children and adolescents world over. Because untreated mental illness hinders individuals' social and economic prosperity, improving access to child mental health care, adolescent mental health care, student mental health program on a global level is of extreme importance. However, although several evidence-based interventions for treating mental disorders among children have been shown to be effective, in low and middle income countries, determining how and where to implement these interventions remains uncertain. Therefore, a lot depends upon this is a huge responsibility for conducting local level research in each and every city, community. We must know what is the evidence, which cultural intervention, which medical intervention, which psychiatric intervention is effective and which is not. Addressing these gaps requires a multifaceted approach, my dear friend. It involves increasing mental health awareness, of course, reducing stigma, expanding mental health infrastructure in educational institutions, integrating mental health education into curriculum, strengthening collaboration amongst all stakeholders, and allocating sufficient resources for student mental health programs. Efforts are underway in India to bridge these gaps, including the establishment of helplines, online counseling services, and implementation of mental health policies in educational institutions. However, sustained commitment and continued investment of both the government and private sector are necessary to ensure comprehensive and accessible mental health care for all students in India. So, these initiatives can be divided into two for the purpose of understanding. There are some, we call that public health measures, things which are applicable for a larger group of population, belongs to public. And there are methods which are to be employed in an individual, custom-made allocations of custom-made treatments or intervention or measures to improve yourself. So what are the public health measures which can be improved, which can be initiated? For example, students' psychological problem and suicide prevention. I mean, everybody knows that in a student population, suicide is a huge difficulty. More than 15,000 students succeed to kill themselves, and they die due to suicide in our country every year, unfortunately. And more than 20 times of this number, they attempt suicide, but they are saved. Luckily, they reach the treatment center well in time, and they are there in various institutions. We must remember that these are the boys and girls who are at a higher risk of developing another suicide attempt, and increasing risk of suicidality persists for a long period of time, maybe 5 years, 10 years. I mean, there is enough international research to show that in 10 years' time, we may lose 10% of all those who have attempted suicide in the past. So, similarly, the programs like managing mental disorder, identification, treatment, access of care of all mental disorders. We know that mental disorders are common. Adolescents are particularly vulnerable. Students are special subgroup for developing mental disorder. And therefore, this is a reality that about 15-17% of students in all universities across the board may be having one or the other mental disorder. And therefore, it is of prime importance that we must investigate, identify, allocate time, resource, energy, develop services to provide fantastic care. How do we do that? The first step is to improve awareness, because it is extremely important that students are able to differentiate that if they have headache, is it because of an injury which they had in the sports, or it is a gradually developing everyday headache and maybe related to depression. Students must know that, to suspect that I may be one to develop a mental health issue, rather than thinking that I will never develop mental health issue. Because the fact of the matter is, you are sitting in the same society where 15-20% people do have a mental disorder. So improving awareness, and especially improving the awareness through educational courses, is extremely important. And therefore we offer this course, Mind Sciences, in which we will be discussing what are the signs, symptoms, how do people develop mental health issues, when they are at risk, when they are vulnerable, when do they develop mental disorder, what are the factors which leads to a mental illness, what are the precipitating factors, what is the significance of adverse circumstances, how stress can convert health into illness, at what stage, what kind of intervention should be done to prevent progression of the illness, and how to predict possibility of vulnerable subgroups. These are the contents of the course, Identifying Mental Health Problems. Now, building healthy educational environment is another responsibility, because as you know, we relate to the environment we live in. And if our environment is not healthy, what do we mean by healthy? If there are threats, humiliation, discrimination, insecurity, unsafety, abuse, trauma, and all those social factors which threaten my survival, then that's not a healthy atmosphere. Educational institution must make sure that the environment in any institution is inclusive, promotive, collaborative, safe, secure, promotes positive mental health, provides career guidance, and people have clear goals to well defined, delineated, providing a career pathway. Then you would be able to, and at the same time we also know that there will be people with psychological problems, with substance abuse, with internet addiction, with gambling habits, eating disorder, physical illness, and so on and so forth. These realities should not be shunned away, and therefore institution must have mechanism to deal with those issues. Individuals' respect, dignity, grievances must be dealt with. Identification and treatment of mental disorders, and supporting vulnerable individuals. So it is very important for any institution to know if they have 100 students in a class, who are 4, 5, 10 who are vulnerable. How do we know that? It's a matter of great discussion. We are working on it, and literature suggests that yes, we can find out at-risk and vulnerable students within the subgroup. It will be difficult to label or pinpoint because of fear of discrimination, stigma, and isolation, but my suggestion would be that people should volunteer. Students must ask themselves, am I vulnerable? And then move forward from there. Fostering a campus environment that prioritizes mental well-being. So what should be the campus environment? What should it tell us? It must tell us how to reach the highest possible goal of life, that's happiness, and prioritize mental well-being for the pathway of happiness. So some of these things are of public health initiative which can be discussed. They are very encouraging. A lot of experiments have been conducted. We have good results where programs have been initiated. So my submission is that every institution must have a program for positive mental health, career development, and making the students more comfortable in their society. Continue to watch.